Alright, welcome back to the channel, guys. It's been a little bit of time since I posted a video. I did a little quick shorts on the white car with the wheels and tires I mounted a couple weeks ago, a month ago. I don't know what the timeline was, but today we're working on the Audi again. This is like the third installment of the shakedown, pretty much. I've done upper control arms. I've knocked out lower, made marks on the lower control arms to see if they're moving or whatnot. 034 kit all around. The tops were 034 Motorsport as well. I took out and added some adjustable ones. The 034 were still good. They did have some cracks on them, but they weren't all the way through. The old trash truck or FedEx guy. So this one, I'm doing motor mounts. As you saw at the beginning, 034 heavy duty or street density, whatever they call them, motor mount kit. Not motor mount, strut mount kit. But I did have the motor mounts installed by a shop, so spare me some time. We're doing strut mounts. I did the passenger side last night with the little fuel rail going down, fuel lines coming down the side. That's where I took the airline. Today we're going to do the driver's side, so I'll walk you through some of that, and I'll show you what the mounts look like before now. So opening scene, right, little beginning. This is what I showed you. Here is the stock compared to the 034. You can tell it's already taller. This has 114,000 miles on it, brand new. This one, can't really tell. Kind of hear the plate in the side is moving, right? This is still nice and stuck together, all one piece, kind of molded, two piece, however they put this thing together, man. But this is what's now on the passenger side, and I'm about to put in the driver's. If this don't fix this clanking, I don't know what it is. I don't care after that. So under here, you pull that up and pull this up, right? And you got 14 mil. Oh, there you go. These two on the back that come by the strut bar is kind of a pain a little bit, but once you drop these down, loosen those up, and drop the strut down some, it's easier to get them off, right? So here, I'm going to end up removing, well, pulling this side of the fender liner out so I can get to my airline that's running down and disconnect it. We'll end up loosening this so I can separate these two, right? Connect the bottom fork from the actual bag, and you see right there is a sway bar end link. I'm going to disconnect that, and then I'll just pull this whole strut out at one point. This whole strut will come out. Whoop, whoop. We got, before I forget, oh man, I can't get a good angle. Also got the bottom, oh man, this is horrible. The bottom fork, bam, sorry, there we go. So we got the bottom fork bolt, nut, bolt, whatever you want to call it. Be careful of that. That is your headlight aimer adjuster. Sometimes, take that, push that out, so when you are moving this up and down, you don't break that off. These up here, I can keep the way they are. I don't have to touch those. Right. But again, I'm gonna end up pulling the whole thing apart, the two pieces, top and bottom. Yeah, that angle sucked. Sorry, but I got 14 nuts at the top. I think it's a 17 or 18 mil bolt for the bottom fork. 17 or 18 for the pinch, the hub pinch for where the strut is going to disconnect. The airbags are going to disconnect from the fork, and then I think it's a 16 for the sway bar link. Disconnect that. A little bit of persuasion, push down and pull up. What I'll probably end up doing, dropping the strut out and then separating the two pieces like I did on the passenger side. All this is, a lot of it can be done with hand tools. I am going to use an impact. There's a 17 mil for the strut mount top for the cap. Strut mount nut. Makes it easier. You can use, breaker bar, the proper socket, and an Allen bolt, Allen key. But I'm gonna zip it off. And I got the safety hood latch going on because last night These are half shocks, a little worn out. That thing slammed. Luckily, I didn't have my digits in the way. All right, correction. Those are 13s. Got a little 10 mil here, a little pressure clip here. I'm gonna move this out of the way to get to this one. That one's still kind of a pain in the butt to get into, right? I think when I actually did the install, I removed this completely. I'm gonna remove this, hit this, and that. Should be able to get a wrench on it, ratchet wrench, however it's gonna take like twice as long because I'm not gonna remove that strut bar, right? But 13s, not 14s. So it's all out now, right? And separated. So you can buy this tool, you can make one, because I bought 2 of them and I've lost them both somehow. That's the hub spreader, knuckle spreader, whatever you want to call it, right? Goes right in there, twist, spreads it apart for this to come apart. Right, makes it a little easier to pull it all out. This part is what I'll be replacing, right? 17 mil nut, nylock nut, self-locking. So replace that, but look, you can see there's some wiggle. Of course, there's rubber underneath, so it is gonna wiggle some. It's got some cushion, it's got rubber here. But either way, that's what I'm gonna be replacing. Airline, and it's out. So now let me zip that off, put the new one on. With this top plate, right, you can see my line is going out the back because, well, that's where the line's going. But this top plate, the spacing on these bolts are a certain way. The driver's side, this little tab faces to the front. Passenger side faces exact opposite of what I just said. Driver's side, this faces to the back. Passenger side, this little tab faces to the front. Let me put this back on. That goes like that, right? So I'm gonna zip this off. When it comes apart, you can see to install the bags, you gotta pull out that little center spacer, clip, whatever. It's in the instructions. That's the old one. That's the new one. And it sits back up like that, right? With the spacer. As you can see, there is some wear on these. So it lets me know that this wasn't static, that had been moving some. All right, I'll put that back on. That like that, right? One good thing is, yes, that does have some room to give. But when this goes on, there's not a lot of give, right? Minimal room. So this will go on, that go on, and I tighten it back on, and it goes back up. Right? Yeah, this video sucks, it's half-assed. Sorry, deal with it. It's just kind of give you an idea of how things are working. Right, I'm holding it with one hand, as you see in the shadow. I'm holding it with one hand, filming and talking with the other. But this is the new one. I'm looking forward to see how these feel, and fingers crossed this fixes this. Hey guys, question real quick. When y'all do the repairs, when you're working on your own ride, you're doing the upgrades, you're doing the repairs, you're doing all the work, you're learning, you're knocking it out. Are y'all doing it mainly because you enjoy it? Like it's a skill, it's a hobby that you've enjoyed, that you like doing, you take the pride in updating and upgrading and fixing your own car? Or is it done out of necessity, right? Or is it both? You just don't have the money to pay somebody, so you got to do it. Right now, I'm kind of in the middle of both, right? A lot of this used to be a lot of joy I'd get out of it. I'd get a lot of joy out of upgrading, updating, fixing, correcting, showing that, hey, I've done this. And not a lot of people know what you've done because they don't see it. Right? They don't see the work, they don't see the hours, they don't see the money you invested in the tools, the knowledge, the zillion different videos you may have already watched to try to get an idea of what to do, or the trade school you went to, the years you spent in the shop already to learn the skills that you have to apply to your own vehicles, your friends, and help some people out here and there. But now it's lately it's kind of getting to where I'm getting tired of doing it just because I have to now versus need to. I have to do it because funds are a little bit tight here and there, but I still enjoy it, just not to the same extent that I did when I first started doing all these different projects. You haven't seen them all. They're not all on YouTube. I just started this channel this January coming up at 26, 52 years old. Right now I think I'm sitting just shy of 200 subscribers. But you know, from mid-20s, early 20s up to I'll be 46 in January, right? Just kind of losing its fun. I guess maybe I'm getting tired of working on jack stands and a little quick jack. My ultimate goal, retirement and a lift, and then some of the joy might come back. But when y'all knocking this out, like, what do y'all do? Is it necessity? Is it need? Is it want? A lot of it is want for me. You know, I'm gonna backtrack on a lot of what I just said. A lot of it's want for me, but then I'm halfway through the project and I'm like, why the hell did I decide to do this? Why can't I just leave the cars alone? Why can't I just leave it as good as it is when I got here, and then the headaches of what I'm doing won't come around? But this job right here is a necessity. Cash-wise, I don't know what the shop's going to charge me. They're going to charge me more than I want to pay. So I'm going to knock this out, about to put this thing back together. Then I've got to go to the shop and Lowe's or wherever, get a couple fittings for the air ride so I can stop a leak out of the tank that I've had for about a year now that I've just been too lazy to try to diagnose, which I finally did. So I got to go get a fitting, plug this hole, put some thread seal on it, and then I should fix that, and then I should just be down to an alignment. And hopefully everything's back up to riding nice and smooth. This thing, I don't even realize it. I'm up to 100 and I don't realize it because the thing is just that smooth. It's nice. New tires, new motor mounts. It's about to have new strut mounts. It's stage 3, stage 2.5. I don't know what it is. I can't remember what I flashed. It's 034, stage 2.5 plus 2. I don't know, 2 something, right? Dual pulley, trans tune, all that fun stuff. But you know, heat exchanger, test pipes, down pipes, JHM, Red Star, all that good stuff. I just don't have the $2,000 now that I want to do to finish off the exhaust, so I'm gonna probably try to find a cheap way to do that bad boy. Or if you got one for sale or free, I'm in El Paso. I'll come scoop it up. But let me knock this out, and I'll show you what I've tightened up. So I've used a plethora, fun word, plethora of hand tools. 13 mil, was that 13 mil, 10 mil, 18 mil, 17 for the wheel, 18, couple 18s. You're gonna need a socket and a ratchet, or a socket, a wrench, an impact, but 18, 13, 10. That's pretty much what's gonna get you through this job. And 17 actually for the strut mount. So those are the basic hand tools I used with an impact to tighten and loosen some of the stuff. Both strut mounts are done. So now I'm about to run over to Home Depot and pick up some fittings for the air ride plug so I can plug that up. And I'll be back, finish that up, put this thing back on the ground. I'm gonna take this little beast right here. Oh, yeah, a little hack right here. Is something else I've been working on, right? Gonna be, I don't know, probably dinner for tomorrow, because it won't be done by the time it's time to eat dinner. Park back, nice little smoker, extra smoke with an extra smoke, and some nice dry rub on here. So I got this thing on sale 2 years ago, Austin XL from Walmart special, like 300 bucks. This thing is a champ. And that is extra, $65, right? That's how they get you at the peripherals. I'll let you know how that tastes too. Let's get a little cold start action on here. Woo. I barely drive this joint, but maybe it's due for an oil change. Who knows? Hopefully, I can get out of my driveway without hitting the Audi. So I'm at an angle, and this joint's low. So we're gonna scrub a dub into the ground of the car. Forgot they got a Ace Hardware right up the street now, so made a little whipped a little Yui. Stop in here, gonna get some fittings. Let's see what I gotta do. All right, I gotta get an elbow 90 for this. All right, that's just a little plug I made, and a new one of these joints for the airline. Both these, all this was leaking, causing the air tank to leak down on the Audi, which would be zero every time I got in the car, and you know, it's just wreak havoc on the pumps all the time, on the compressors. So about to knock this out, grab these, go back, install this hopefully, and then run some air through it and get the car back on the road. And so I spared y'all the boring part of putting all this together. But this was at one point just coming straight out. I added this 90. I bought a new one of these because this was leaking, right? And I bought it as a kit from Ace because I wasn't sure if I was going to need this adapter, if I was going to run a male onto a female, but either way. So I've got Loctite 577 on here. I'll let it sit overnight and then I'll put air in. So I won't be putting this back down on the ground today. But that will eventually, that airline, that's a little plug I created, because that will eventually, never get around to it, be the air horn line for the air horn feed, right? And then 90 degree elbow out makes it easier to apply the air hose. My dumb ass put it right here, kept getting blocked by this when I kept trying to put it in, and it was a pain in the butt to try to hook the airline up. Now I pull back, slide it in, and it goes against the base that I have it mounted to. Dual compressor, look a little sloppy, but it's hidden, right? Dual compressor, water trap, which is empty because the tank is empty. Dual 485s, 3-piece setup with a muffler. I don't have a 90 on there because that line was leaking when I put the 90 on, so I've got a new valve. I'll probably end up swapping this valve out eventually. I just haven't been finicky enough to try to mess with it, right? And then disconnected the amp because the amp was having issues. I want to end up putting some other amp in, put the 12s back in. So let all this goop dry up and that'll be it. Scooped up a new airline because the plastic, when it gets cold, it gets a little brittle. But got a new one, 50 feet. Now where to store it, right? It's gonna be a pain, but more pliable, more reach. Ultimately, that's the end of the video, right? So we did strut mounts, 034 Motorsport. Hopefully that fixed the knocking. I've probably said that a zillion times in this video. I don't know, a lot of snippets put together. Did both strut mounts and fixed an air leak, hopefully, fingers crossed. I'll find out tomorrow once all that stuff sets up. When I come back from work, I'll plug it all back up, put it together. I might cut a new line at the end of the passenger side line so I get a better fitting. Well, ultimately we did a strut mounts on the Audi A6 C7. So there's a C7 Audi A6 3.0T. But that strut mount's the same strut mount across the C7 3.0 and the 4.0. I think, you know, according to the package, B8, B8A4 as well. So same concept, just slightly different, right? But hopefully you got something out of this video. It's a little janky, a little half-assed put together. This is probably a quick one. I was trying to put together a little bit longer than it turned out than I thought it was going to be, but ultimately you got the understanding how to do it. If you like it, thumbs up it. Subscribe to the channel. Check out my other videos that I have in there. If you don't like it, fucking thumbs down it, right? Talk smack on it. Ask a question. Tell me what I should have done differently, right? Because ultimately, I'm still learning as well. I'm never going to be 100% at any of this stuff. Always learning. So suggestions, comments, like, share, and subscribe, right? I need four more subscribers. That gets me to 200, right? And it's been going for about, this January coming up will be 2 years, January 1st. So like, subscribe, share, check out the other vids. Thank you.